Orange Corner is a favourite among fans who have jokingly dubbed a similar corner on the Istanbul Park circuit Beau Rouge. Ferrari has seen a wealth of success here with more wins than any other constructor. Spa's own layout is a great example of the lack of safety considerations and requirements of the time. It was and is still used as a public road. Aside from a few bales of hay, the circuit remained unchanged on a race weekend. A warm welcome to our spectators today from our Belgian locals to fans from around the world. Special guest Jimmy Porter will be enjoying the weekend from his seat in Eau Rouge. Turn 11, unofficially known as Speaker's Corner, was officially named after legendary Belgian driver Jack Hicks in 2018. British World Championship class took 4 consecutive wins here at Spa between 1962 and 1965, a feat since matched by only one other driver, Ayrton Senna.
Yo, yo, yo! Welcome everybody to TCR, Trinity Competitive Racing, and welcome to round number 9 for the Belgian Grand Prix here in Spa-Francorchamps. I always wonder if I'm saying that correctly. Definitely butchered that. And we are here for the Elite Series, TCR's top class with racing line only. And, as always, in Season 17, this is Spa. We got 19 drivers. We should be joining with KD. Should be joining us after missing a few weeks, hopefully in the qualifying. So, 19 drivers at Spa is going to be a lot of fun. It is myself, Seafreeze, and I will be bringing you guys through tonight's proceedings. I will be, however, joined by Zionical, last year's Silver Class champion, if he is according to plan and makes it home in time. He will be joining me in the commentary booth. Oh, we don't want that happening. Oh, right on cue! Literally right on cue! We have Zionical, Season 16 Silver Class champion, and he is joining me literally right on cue. We'll give him a minute to get set up, but if you're ready, go ahead.
Oh yeah, well I'm ready if you send an invite my way, but I'm glad to hear that you're so excited to see me, Seafreeze.
Yes, I don't want to do a whole nother commentary alone, so I'm very enthusiastic that I will be having someone to talk to for an hour and a half, because otherwise I am going bazonkers off the walls.
Okay, well I don't blame you.
But yeah, it's Seafreeze and Zionical bringing you through tonight's proceedings, and we are live on both the YouTube and the Twitch. Encourage you guys to watch on your preferred platforms. And yeah, I thank you all for tuning in on your Wednesday evening. Same time, same place. Next week is the big one for TCR, the TCR Grand Prix. We missed out on it last season because of attendance issues. We had to cancel it. But this next week, it's coming back to Saudi Arabia at Jeddah. And if you guys are not aware of what the TCR Grand Prix is, it's a unique format. Basically, one-shot quali, 5-lap heat races, and you basically get 3 rounds of that, just like a qualifying session would be for Formula 1. And we're doing that to set the grid for 50% race. It will be a lot of little things you can do with the setup, and changing your setup. Park Fermé is off, so you have free range, points given out. That's for the Elite Series. The Challenger Series gets a miniature version of that. They basically only get 1 round of a one-shot quali, a 5-lap heat race, and then the 50% race. So points will be given out to a few of them. All of that will be announced probably this weekend or very soon, but it is on our website, so if you want to have a little sneak peek, you can look there. We also have previous seasons TCR Grand Prix, and we call the lower class like the TCR feature race. This was before they did the sprints, and Formula One copied feature and sprints, so we were actually first on all this.
Ahead of the curve. Ahead of the curve, for real.
We were, as we're getting a few things. So that's next week, so that's going to be a lot of fun. I really encourage everybody to tune back in next Wednesday. And if you're able to race, if you're a reserve, you haven't gotten in there in a while, come join. Let's get a full 20 drivers next week for Elite. Hey, how about Challenger 2? I know they've been struggling. They need some drivers too, so get out there and unlock your racing potential.
Well, just getting us started already. Forzan and B-Tom separated by, what is that, 6 thousandths with their first flying lap. So if that's any indication of the type competition we're going to be having, it could be a very good night.
And we, it's kind of interesting. Forzan keeps showing up every week, and every other week it's almost like they're doing a little tag team action. Lawrence will be one week, then it's B-Tom the next. Lawrence will be back racing next week for the TCR Grand Prix. At least he's hoping so. And then and those two seem to be challenging Forzan Professional to the line. Goes 9th. Silent was able to sneak in a time for P3. And the hot driver the last few weeks has been just Jose. Let's see what his lap time can do. I think he'll have a great race here today as well. In my memory, he's decent, pretty good around Spa. But we're going to find out in just a few 100 meters to the line. The Mercedes go P7, so not too bad for a banker, so to speak.
Just a few tenths off of P3 too. Really P11 to P3, all very tight, all within 3 tenths or thereabout. So it's looking like we could have a very tight field. Maybe save those top two, who, at least on that first lap, have sort of set their own pace.
A couple nice laps by the pairings of the Haas's, low 42s. That puts them 5th and 6th. Remsley up to 4th. He had troublesome. Both Alpines had troublesome last week. Last week there was a little issue with the lobby settings. Tonight we made sure they're all correct, so we should have the safety car on. We should hopefully have the formation lap on. So you do want a safety car on at Spa, because from my experience, the field gets spread out very easily. And you do have some pretty big field spread going on, because it's such a long lap, and it's a technical track as well. So the long lap time, lots of technical corners, mainly in middle, sector 2, and that really allows everybody to get sprung out. But you do have a few DRS zones, the 2 of them, mainly towards like the last, basically sectors 1 and 3. You can use that DRS and slipstream to your advantage, but it's really that sector 2 that you really have to, I circle when I come to Spa. You have to make sure you can run sector 2, because you want to be able to run that, because sector 1 and 3 is pretty simple. You can slip in with the slipstream DRS, but if you don't have sector 2 down, you're going to lose the pack, in my opinion.
Luke turning on his lawnmower, just cutting across that chicane in Sector 2. I've always found Sector 2 very challenging. Spa has never been, I would say, one of my best tracks on this game, but even then, I still really enjoy it, because it's so technical, and when you nail it, it feels really good. One of the most satisfying sectors on the calendar, I think.
Yeah, pretty much the entire lap of Sector 2, you're mainly going downhill, so it's fun to use that elevation climb. But Good laps by Kluka. Even last week he qualified good at Imola, which is also another technical track, but had some issues on the opening lap. So we'll see what he can do tonight.
Yeah, Kluka is. I mean, the pace has never been the issue for Kluka. I mean, even last year they're in silver for him, and he's progressed a lot since then. But even last year in silver, there were a lot of tracks where he was outright faster than me, but and F1 nerd. But it was just the consistency, keeping it on the track, avoiding accidents that gets to him sometimes.
I just want to give a little shout out to a debut driver of F1 Original Paulie. He is in the Ferrari tonight. I don't know if he's full or reserve, but I do know he was having a little bit of pedal issues before this. He was asking me for a few settings, so hopefully he can get all that figured out before we start the race. This is kind of a little test to see if he's ready for a lead or challenger, so I guess it's, you know, good to throw him in at Spa. See how he does. So good luck, and hopefully we'll be seeing a lot more from you in TCR.
Yeah, always good to see some new drivers, and it'll certainly be interesting to see where his pace is at. Someone just set a lap. I'm trying to figure out who. May have been. Actually, I'm not even going to try and guess. The middle of the pack still very tight though. Now it's P4 to P13, all within 4/10. So I'm excited. I think this could be a fun race. A lot of unique battles. And wow, F1 nerd up to P4. So the challenger driver's showing some pace early.
I tell you what, some of these and Remsley, take over, slide over. He's back, baby.
And a single 100th above P3, B-Tom. Wow, it is tight at the top.
Oh, he
right
knows
now.
it too. He probably has the stream on. He knows I'm on him. He's gonna do little wiggles down the straight. He's celebrating that provisional for the time being. Yeah, I mean he won back at Qatar, I believe. And you know, had a few podiums here and there, so he had a couple issues with his computer, but oh, look at this. Forzan
right
just
back
took
at him.
over, and he got it by about a 10th.
Yeah, and yeah, like you were saying, Remsley having some computer issues, but still, you know, a very, very fast driver, and he's played a lot on Xbox, so he'll know that he can still get some strong finishes even on Xbox in the meantime until he gets back on PC, as shown by that pace just now.
And his teammate GTR Lion went 4th for the time being, but until Silent takes over for provisional, he'll get it over another 10th. So here we go. The times keep ticking on down.
This could be fun. It's looking like we got a lot of different people who've got some pace tonight. I'm getting more excited about this one by the minute.
Yeah, no, this does look good. I'm looking for Jose, though. He is still in the pit lane. Both Mercedes, actually. I want to see what they can do to get back up towards the front. Because I know they have more lap time in that. KD
Certainly.
also joined the session, so can he get himself a setup? Can he get himself some tires? Can he lower the fuel down? Let's see what he got.
I didn't realize he was going to be back tonight. That's good to see. KD's always got some pace. He'll be looking to get back to challenging at the top middle of the field, maybe even fight for a podium. We'll see. But yeah, hopefully he can get out in time. Spa, obviously one of the longest laps on the calendar, so he's going to have to get out soon if he wants to get one in.
Camden just finished a lap, went to 42, almost sneaking into the 41s. 6 drivers in the 41s at the time being, but pretty good laps out of the Haas's. And to be honest, Camden and even Raikkonen, they both kind of been closing up towards that. I wouldn't, maybe the front pack you can say, or the the drivers, usually fighting for those podiums. Camden and Raikkonen don't have a podium in TCR's top class, if I'm not mistaken. So, but they've been pretty close a few times this season. So, good for them so far. Even F1 Nerd up there in 9th. So good laps by them.
Yeah, I'm getting excited because we're starting to see that a huge group of cars come out of the pit to set their final lap. Even these McLarens who got out a little earlier about to start their final flying lap. So we got a lot of action coming up. Should be interesting. Tight field, so could see a lot of changes.
Couple out laps. Let's check on board. Let's see who else is gonna. I think everyone is gonna start their laps pretty much at the same time. So this is gonna make it really difficult for me to figure out what the hell's going on. I think Jose is gonna be actually one of the first to start his lap. So we will start with Jose and kind of go down the conga line as we tick down on this quali.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Jose and Kluka in particular, I think, and maybe even Whisper. I'm not sure if they're on a flying lap. Might have to fight through some of these cars through the second sector, which could be tough. Will be interesting, though.
And Sector 1, there's not much to it. There's only one braking zone. That's Turn 1, La Source. And if you get that wrong, you're going to lose a lot of time all the way through Sector 1. And it seemed like Jose nailed it at the start, but he got a little, I guess, too greedy on exit. Kind of had a counter steer through the traction zone. He's going to catch some cars, though, if, because I have a feeling all those cars will start to slow down, but that Alpha gets out of the way.
And yeah, getting into the, or just getting out of the meat of Sector 2, about to get a little easier, now that he's in Sector 3, and will be interesting to see where he comes out. As you said earlier, he's been on a very hot streak lately. Won't be wanting to give that up. P1 and P2 in his last 2 races, if I'm not mistaken, so
was a half a second up, just about, coming into the bus stop chicane. Let's see if he grabs any more time here. It should go into the 41s, nicely into top 5. So good lap to save his race start. You don't want to go too far back.
Yeah.
The next one to finish will be Sir Charles. Camden and Whisper are done. They did not start. Kluka is settled.
Kluka also done.
Oh, lots of curb for Charles, and he invalidates his lap time.
So unfortunate at that point in the lap.
KD is invalidated as well.
Wow.
Beaton is the next to cross the line. 3.5 clear. Will this put him on provisional pole? It might put him on the front row. Will it be provisional? It is!
Yes!
41.2.
Quite a nice lap. And let's see where Prof is. Let's see where Professional is. Going to be interesting. Not kind of missed the apex going into the last chicane. Let's see where he comes out. 42.1. I'm not sure if he improved, but even if he did, not going to be exactly where he was hoping to be.
Let's see, we have a few Alpines crossing the line. First is Remsley will stay 4th.
Lion goes.
About a 10th clear. Let's see if he gets up to the top 6. He does.
Nice.
Raikkonen jumps his teammate. He's for 7th. Couple Alfa Romeos. Here's Forzan. Does not improve. Stays 3rd. And Silent aborted his lap time. that will do it for qualifying. It is the 5-time Platinum Class champion to grab your pole position here to start the Belgian Grand Prix.
And Seafreeze, I don't know about you, but you never know at Spa, but it is looking awfully cloudy. I do wonder if there could be any sort of rain later in this race. The chat hasn't said anything about it, so it may just be some typical overcast at Spa, but that could make things really interesting if that would if rain came into the equation here. But an impressive pole nonetheless for B-Tom.
Weird seeing him in that Aston Martin seat. That's usually where I go in the last season or so.
Yeah, definitely not used to seeing him in the Aston Martin, but
jumping around lately.
yeah, sort of musical chairs since he's been in the reserve capacity, but I mean that Aston Martin is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite liveries from recent F1 history. Just such a nice looking car. It's hard to go wrong with that color though. That green and black combo is just too nice.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. The big upset here for me is KD. He's wasn't able to get a clean laptop in, so he'll be playing from P19.
Yeah, I was really interested to see what his pace was like too after a few weeks out of the mix. I was really hoping to see where he could come out if he could put in a strong lap on his only chance, but it's always tough when you just get one lap because you put that pressure on yourself. You got to rush it, and then you're just even more likely to make a mistake. So, tough situation when you get into quali weight, of course.
Oh, this is the time. Oh, clear skies for the time being. I wonder if that'll change later on in this race, but we do know it will be a clean start.
I am in a car right now, Seafreeze.
Oh.
Seafreeze, I'm not going to lie to you. I am in a Williams. I am inside of a Williams. Go ahead,
baby. If you had that opportunity, I ain't taking away from you.
Yeah, I'll just commentate this one while I drive. Just get another extra. Okay, so what is the best way to approach this? Because I do not want to drive. So should I quit? Should I quit to main menu now? Should I retire?
No, I would. You're
drive a lap and then retire?
You probably going to stay in there for at least lap 1 and then retire in the pit lane.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I would do that.
I do have a spa set up, so I'll put on the softs.
Are you on your rig or you have your controller?
I got a controller and I'll make it happen. I don't have my rig out right now, but that shouldn't be too bad of a problem. I got my spa setup going, and yeah, I will just try and just stay behind everybody, keep it clean, and get it to the pits.
That works
that
perfectly.
Is funny.
That's happened to me once too, joining a commentary late, and it actually will work perfectly because you'll kind of work as that safety car, that little safety car that runs around the back, make sure everybody's clean on the opening lap, and then you'll come right into the pits and retire. So I'll take care of the front and the call, and then you just make sure you don't get any front wings attacking you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna play it extra safe, make sure everybody gets quite a bit ahead of me, and then take it home to the pits. Oh, I was quite confused though, I can't lie, when I got put into this cockpit. Let's make sure it's a safe return to the pits. This is going to be a unique perspective, though, for sure, on this race. Do we have? We've got a formation lap too, right? I assume.
I hope so. Last week we did not, but we do have one this week. So, whew, thank God. Last week I was caught off guard, as was everyone else.
So all the back markers, the back 3 all starting on hards.
Yeah, interesting stuff towards the front. You said basically the last three are on hards. P2, P3, and P4 are all on hards. That's Silent, Forzan, Remsley, and that's it. That's all the hard tire runners. B-Tom opts for the soft tire. Jose opts for the soft tire, and he's in 5th. So Jose needs to jump these next 3 drivers and try and not let B-Tom get too far ahead. But he's got a whole bunch of medium runners, basically from P6 to 16, apart from professional, all on the mediums. So
yeah, and it looked like to me from what I saw the Challenger race last night, it did feel like medium soft or soft medium, depending on your preference. I honestly thought medium soft might have been medium soft was the winning strategy, although it did seem like D Swift may have gotten something wrong with his setup because his wear in the second stint was brutal, allowing some guy to come back and put up a pretty monstrous second stint, open up a big gap on him on that soft tire versus the medium. Strategy going to be very interesting here, though, I think, because I think we got a very similar pace up at the front, despite the fact that B-Tom did have a decent gap to second place in quali.
yeah, I'm pretty much it should be a definite one stop, because of the length of the track, and even the pit lane isn't too long. But I just find that the one stop is usually always what works here. But because of the tires, you can try different ones. You could go hard to medium or hard to soft. Like, I feel like all tires are in play because you can, since it's 22 laps, a little shorter than usual. But for predictions, and for those watching, feel free to leave your top 3 in the comments down below. I'm gonna have to go with you know what? I can't really bet against B-Tom. At Spa, 5-time champ, he got pole position. I think he's just really good at Spa. I like Forzan for 2nd. I think those two will be up there. And I like the hot streak of Jose. I think he'll go P3, but wouldn't be surprised if one of the Alpines can take that for them instead. But we're gonna be getting going anytime.
As I bring up the rear.
Zionical's got the rear, he's in the car. Seafreeze with the call. 5 red lights, and away we go. Round number 9 for the Belgian Grand Prix here in the Elite Series. B-Tom gets the go-ahead. He'll lead into turn 1, and it's 3 wide. Oh, a little tangle up. Not too bad. Everybody's still square. Coming down to a Rouge. It's going to be 2x2, followed by the Haas's. It's going to be GT got a real good start. He's up to P3, Remsley to 5th, down to 5th. And man, this is just chaos on this straight all the way down to turn 4. And everybody's so far so good. We have Kluka trying D-Swish actually. Making the move on Kluka as they come down a very tricky downhill off camber corner. Very easy to lock up. And we're still trying to settle out, get single file. It's Giggle and Speedin. And still side by side. Speedin up onto the curbing. And Giggle will take the position. I can't believe we're almost all the way through this first lap. We're still trying to get figured out here. But very respectful. I don't know what you've seen down there.
Yeah, well, I will say what I'm saying, thinking back here is with a lot of hard runners, it feels like it may be a struggle for the hard runners for the first couple laps. I am going very slow on these softs, obviously not pushing at all. And I was keeping up through that second sector on maybe 60-70% pace. So it may take a second for those hard runners to warm it up. Obviously, the payoff is never going to be in the early sectors, as I'm going to pull into the pits and retire here.
This is GT and Jose, both able to grab Remsley on the hards, who did struggle off the launch there. His race will start to come into play later on. Jose, though, with the soft tires, not having the best opening lap, but he'll get back up to 4th. Sir Charles gets one of the Haas's, and so does F1 Nerd. You can see that little group starting to form, that little gap between the start of Camden and Remsley and the drivers in front.
Yeah, and I don't think Remsley is in too bad of a spot here, considering the hard compound. They're going to be... Oh! And just as I say that... Oh, wow. But we get a safety car. And who was that? Oh, it looks like Giggle may have crashed out.
Yeah, I don't know where that was, to be honest.
I believe it may have been... I think I got a sight of their ping on the map just before they disappeared, and I believe it may have been out of turn 7, maybe? I'm not 100% sure, though. Kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah, solo crash from Giggle early on lap 2. We'll bring out a safety car, and the real... I don't know how many people will pit. I mean, some of these hard runners might opt to get off them, but I don't see anyone really taking advantage of this. They're just going to lose so much track position if you're towards the front. I don't see anyone coming in. Whisper will be the first to pit. He'll bring in D-Swish.
Yeah, some of these middle to late cars might for the cars at the beginning. I think just a couple, or at the front, just a few laps too early. Maybe some of the soft runners, if we had gone a couple laps longer. But wow, this for such a short race, this really makes it interesting now, because the strategy is just going to get even weirder. And it was already, as you said, a track where you could see a lot of different strategies come into play. Whew. Will these hard runners at the back be able to make it stretch for the whole race?
Yeah, and that's their plan, to go all the way to the end. Besides Kluka, he put some softs on. He wants to grab some positions out on track. He wants to pull his sleeves up and get on dirty. And I don't blame him. Try it out.
Yeah, and he's going to have 6 hard runners in front of him. So if he gets his racing gloves on, gets the right moves on, he could be moving up quick after we get restarted. So definitely an interesting racer to watch for the restart. What I was going to say before we had the safety car and before Remsley sort of lost the rear coming out of turn 9 was that I think Remsley was not in too bad of a spot, being just one compound harder than the car in front of him. The car in front of him being his teammate on mediums. Would have been interesting to see if he could stay in DRS until his tires really took the advantage over the softs, and then later the mediums. But now we really a bit of a wild card race now, honestly.
Yeah, it is true. I mean, I don't know what to say right now.
Yeah, I know.
Because you know what? We didn't even get DRS activated. So once we get that activated, then
maybe get a clearer picture of what we're going to see for the rest of the race.
Raikkonen's rejoined. He did have a disconnection issue, but he is back into the car, hopefully. And we might have to go one more lap around here, which is a very long lap.
Wow, that's frustrating, honestly. I know some people in this pack are going to be real frustrated that we didn't get it off right there. It was a close call with Kluka pulling up to the back, but I am surprised that they didn't get it off. And yeah, this will be a lesson certainly to many people that 2 laps, 3 laps under a safety car is not equal on every track. This is a big impact on a track like Spa. So, whew.
Well, I'll take the time while we do have the time to just mention and thank everybody for tuning in or rewatching this when it's back uploaded onto YouTube. If you are new or not, you could check out more of TCR on our website. Everything's really in the description of the video. Go to our website. You can join our Discord server where we're the most active. You can find out more about our series, and I think next week, if I got the dates right, it will be the start of the IndyCar series next Thursday, April 11th. We're starting IndyCar series on iRacing. So if you're interested in that or know anybody who might be, give them the link, let them join, and yeah, we'll have a lot of fun up on that iRacing. We also have I know a lot of new drivers have joined this season, but we do have TCR merchandise, so we don't really mention it too much.
Don't want to interrupt you, C-Phrase, but Raikkonen just disconnected DNF.
Oh.
For Raikkonen.
I wonder if he joined back and retired because of it. It was too bad, the connection, or...
That is a shame, though, either way. Unfortunate, as we were just about to get back on. But yeah, it did seem like the internet was a big problem so far.
And the safety car is back in this lap, so down to 17. And you know what? This probably hurts the soft runners the most, because they're not really able to use the early part of this tire to grab that advantage and grab that gap out on track. The safety car it's kind of holding them back here.
Yeah, and that extra lap definitely benefited some of those people who pit for the hard runner, or pitted for the hards, hoping to stretch them to the end. Definitely will be interesting to see how those three racers take advantage. D-Swish, I honestly think, would have a good shot at a podium if they hadn't lost their wheel settings coming into the race. So, will be interesting to see how they cope as we get back underway.
Yeah, B-Tom went very early on, well before the braking zone into the chicane, and that really at Spa you can get that big stagger effect, that yo-yo rubber band effect to start the safety car to go back green, and I think he did that very intentionally to try and get himself a gap, which he already has 1.2, and I think that'll continue to grow as Forzan looking on a move on his teammate.
And it looks like definitely intentional there from B-Tom, looking to take advantage of those soft tires through that chicane. Still going to have a bit of an advantage over the hard runners. Honestly, though, it seems like the Alfa Romeos have quite a low downforce setup.
Oh, the back of Silent! And he saves it. Wow, that was a slide and a half.
God, Silent is sliding a lot on this lap. Obviously, the hards will make that a little more frequent, but man, it does not look comfortable for him at all with the rear end of the car.
And I think Jose just saw that too, and he's like, you know what, I better give him a few extra feet just in case that happens again. I don't want to go into the side pod of the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a dangerous game for Jose to play, because he's going to be wanting to fight for an overtake here on the softs early in this stint. But Silent definitely driving a bit loose. Looks like a low downforce setup, which he's always seems to be a fan of. So will be interesting here as he closes in onto him into the bus stop. Will he go for a move?
Oh, Silent barely gave him the room. It looked like he was going to give him the room, and then he kind of just shut the door on him.
Shut the door at the last second. Not bad racing, though. Still ahead when he went for it. Yeah, this is still 1.3 for B-Tom, but Forzan really dumping the battery, already below 40%.
Yeah, it's a good play. You might as well use some battery, try and stick with that second mark while you can, and then if you can't get that done before the DRS is activated, then you can start saving. He's got his teammate right behind him, and these two can kind of hold up Jose. Because Silent in the next lap will have DRS on Forzan and Jose. That's going to make it really hard for him to try and overtake when the car in front also has that DRS.
Yeah, if Silent can keep it on the rails here, although in Sector 2 it is looking especially difficult for him. They could have a bit of a DRS defense going. Yeah, it's a difficult game, though, because Forzan's definitely selling out his battery, trying to stay up with B-Tom, and if Silent can't hold up his end there, then gets a lot more difficult for him, but holding the gap at about 7 to 8 tenths, so not too bad for Silent right now. Oh, well!
Oh, I missed it. I did not see it.
Just totally lost it coming out of turn 15. High G-force track, destroyed the left front wheel and axle. Wow. Yeah, I mean, we saw it. The car was sliding all over the place. He was pushing to stay in the DRS of Forzan, and yeah, just
I'm kind of mad I missed that. I was on silent for literally the whole time, and then I was like, "Oh, nothing's happening here. Might as well change." Like that's annoying.
Well, my caster jinx is strong tonight. Jinxed Silent with the crash there. Jinxed Remsley with the loss of the car through the second sector. But this forces some interesting pits, and this really is not great for not the end of the world per se, but not great for those cars that pitted onto the hards. They will have really been hoping for a clean race to finish it out.
It's interesting. Kluka put on the soft tires to grab more track position, and then a safety car comes out, and then he pits, and he's back at the end. Wouldn't that be a point to maybe stay out and catch another safety car?
I just don't like the move to have gone on the soft tires very much in the first place, to be honest, because I guess the ideal situation is if you had gotten maybe 4 or 5, maybe even 6 laps to have gone clean on those softs, and then you got a lucky safety car after that. But safety car comes out a bit too early to be in a good spot either way, and I still think if you were going to pit that early, maybe just going onto the hards and praying for a clean race could have been the call. But hey, even those hard runners are probably regretting it now, so...
Well, I don't know. I mean, D-Swish and Speedin stayed out, and those were 2 of the 4 that pitted the last time by, and they're 2nd and 3rd, and they're ready to go to the end of the race. They only have 4 lap older tires than everyone else, so
yeah.
I think over time, they're going to lose positions to Forzan, GT, Jose, some of the quicker drivers, but they might net positive here.
Yeah, if they can stay, and I imagine they're going to be dumping their DRS to try and stay in the, or dumping their ERS to stay in the DRS of some of these faster drivers up at the front. But the safety car will probably guarantee that those hards will make it to the end of the race, so not the worst case scenario for them. It'll be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting.
Big loser, though. Remsley down to 10th in that pit sequence. He probably had a double stack behind his teammate, so he was 10th. So he lost a lot of track position. He's going to have some work to do. But the good thing is he's got a few hard tire runners in front of him, so that'll help him get back up front. We're starting to get towards the point of the race where everyone's almost on equal footing. There's less red. There's now only yellow and white out there.
And it's going to be interesting. The safety car will certainly be coming in next lap. And tough to say. I think I'd rather be on the mediums at this point, but I'm not 100% sure. But I will say B-Tom did get a bit fortunate. D-Swish and Speedin splitting up him and Forzan, who are running pretty close. So if they can hold him, Forzan, up for even a sector or two, will be very big for B-Tom to be able to build a gap before Forzan starts chasing.
And the debut driver, just a little update for him, P15. He is in the Ferrari tonight, and so far so good. I'm sure he's coming to grips with the field, seeing what he can do. But he's got a lot of opportunity here ahead of him. Lap 8 of 22. Bat says in the YouTube comments, he says, "R.I.P. Silent."
Yep. It's been a rough season.
He's laughing at him.
It has been a rough season for Silent, who I think a lot of us had penciled in for top 2, if not winning the Elite Series. But yeah.
It's very interesting to me because, we look back at last season, which was the Platinum class, and I know we had lower attendance towards the end of the season. B-Tom, Forzan, Professional, Silent were pretty much the 4 that kept showing up out of the, the people who were getting podiums and wins. And it's really surprising how much they regressed. And when I talk about they, I mean Silent and Professional. They really regressed a lot. From where they were, in the last few seasons, they've been the top of Platinum class. And now when you add everybody else here, I guess it's just a more competitive grid. I don't know what it is, but they haven't been the mint, selves as they've been. So
That's just called Silent, the Mick Schumacher of TCR. Oh no, Bats.
Well, Silent does have race wins, so I don't know if we can go that far.
Yeah, no, it's definitely maybe the Mick Schumacher of this season of TCR. Definitely not overall. As we get started again.
Maybe this season, yeah. Silent hasn't won this season yet, so yeah, he could be the Mick of this season.
And this is a crucial first lap for Speedin. How long will Speedin and D-Swish be able to stay ahead of Forzan?
Jose, what a move around the outside in turn 1. And I think he's going to get the move on GT. Very aggressive into 1, and he had to be. But GT's going to get the slipstream. Wonder if he'll fight this back. Up ahead as well, Speedin getting overtaken by Forzan. Forzan might go 2 for 1.
2 for 1.
Ooh, the dinner special sounds good tonight. What are we having up there? What do they serve out in Belgium? They got waffles? You could have waffles for dinner, right?
That is B-Tom's worst nightmare. He would have been hoping that D-Swish and Speedin could have held up Forzan through that second sector. Going to be a lot tougher for him down the stretch. Equal compounds. Very, very similar pace, too. This is going to be fun. And Jose, he'll be licking his lips. He's got another shot at a podium now on the maybe preferred medium tires. We'll have to see, but 3 hard runners behind him and 2 worn hard runners in front of him, so he'll be able to get to third quite soon, you'd imagine.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to go dinner style or if he's going to go through the drive-thru. He's going to get 1 through here. Woo, nice move. He's going to grab it.
Get into the bus stop.
Can he get this? Will he go for dinner? Oh, no, he could have, and that would have been nice, but I think he'll get him on the next one.
Yeah, should be pretty easy with this tire advantage. He'll get a superior exit, or he won't even worry about the exit. He's taking him on the front straight. And Forzan sets the fastest lap.
Yeah, and he's within that DRS too, and that is good because these two are now on equal footing, same tire, and it's going to be head-to-head for the rest of this race.
Yeah, this should be fun. Gonna have a lot of action between these two, I think, and then the battle for third should be good as well if some of those fresh hard runners can get through the worn hard runners of D-Swish and Speedin'. But they will be fighting. They're going to want to stay up top, of course, as well.
And speaking of Speedin' and D-Swish, it's a little discouraging when you're up there and you're losing, you're on older, hard tires. But they just have to stick in there and get through the few of these laps. Because they're getting passed by all the quick drivers up that belong up front. GT probably will get both of them soon. But how long can they hold on is the question. They just got to get in these few laps, see if they can settle in here.
Geeswish may be feeling very familiar because he's going to have to do a lot of tire management on those 7-lap-old hards with 12 laps remaining. And like I said earlier in the Challenger race, tire management on that second stint was a really tough outing for him. So he's going to have to keep it clean. We will see what he can do.
Remsley.
As GTR does get past Speedon.
And Remsley gets Camden. Almost got F1 Nerd. But they're going to get the both AlphaTauris maybe on the straight. He's just really confident under these braking zones.
Remsley having a good time on these mediums. Not a surprise. And B-Tom opened up outside of the DRS with Forzan despite Forzan being at 14 ERS. Actually, they are both at 14. They have both completely emptied the ERS already in this stint.
Remsley will get Speedon for 7th. Oh, a little bit of contact, but I think all is well. That's going to bring up Camden now. See if he can get past the backwards driving Speedon.
An F1 Nerd really in a good spot here, actually. Right on the back of GTR Lion. Of course, GTR Lion used a bit less DRS, but same age tires, and he will presumably be able to get past Geeswish pretty early in this stint. Although Remsley, I am sure, will be fighting to pass the three of them as quickly as possible.
Oh, yellow. KD. He's out. Oh,
and we have another safety car. What will B-Tom pit? B-Tom does not pit.
No, Forzan does. Oh, here we go.
This is interesting. Forzan is going to go to the back of the field if people stay out. If people pit, this is all going to be on. Oh, and it looks like a lot of the field. Oh, it's a split. It's such a tight split.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it looks like half the field pitting, half of them staying out. I wanted it to be an easy call on who it would hurt the most.
Jeez, oh, man, that's so much track position loss. Forzan will be coming out. He's going to come out right behind Professional. So, 8th. GT lost out so much. He's down to 13th. All that track position.
Just combined Confessor and Professional on accident. He's going to be behind Professional. So, yeah, P8. Whew. Yeah, B-Tom would have been hoping everybody stayed out. Forzan would have been hoping everybody stayed in. And instead, it looks like we went right in the middle. Very even split of the pitting cars and the cars that stayed out.
Yeah, I don't know about that. If I'm Forzan, I mean, he was on equal tires with B-Tom. And he decided to come into the pits and put the same tire on. He only has 5-lap fresher tires, and he lost all that track position. It's not like it was at the end of the race where he could put soft tires on, right? I mean,
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. A lot of this, I think, is going to be down to how difficult some of these cars ahead of him are going to be to pass. Obviously, Professor and Kicks, no disrespect, have not had the craziest pace, and they are the medium runners. This is going to be interesting. I don't think many of the drivers ahead of him are going to be too difficult to pass. He probably got... And Jose pit onto the hards, which is a really interesting call, actually. Yeah, if you're going to pit, it felt like you had to pit onto the mediums at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is, if I'm Forzan, maybe he thinks, oh, well, if you're going to be on the mediums and go to the end of the race, you know, will those mediums last? Like, will B-Tom's mediums be in pristine condition at the end of the race? Maybe he thought, you know what, I want a little bit fresher tires at the end of the race. But, you know, we still have 15 drivers. You know, one can easily go out and bring another safety car, and that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So a little bit all over the place. But the good thing is Remsley. I mean, Remsley only has F1 Nerd to pass. I think he has similar pace to B-Tom. Forzan's down the order. He's in 8th with Jose behind him on hard tires. I don't think he can do much with that. And GT, he lost so much track position. I don't think he's getting that back. So it's really comes down to 2 people. It's Remsley and Forzan.
Yeah, and if Remsley could get past, this is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Obviously, B-Tom will not want to give Remsley a good shot at winning the race. He saw he had good pace during quali, but if Remsley could get past and you can get some DRS trading, that will make it even more difficult for Forzan to catch up. This race has been a bit of a wild card the whole way. We've had 3 safety cars already. And yeah, Remsley's fortune seemingly switching with Jose, who's now in a really rough spot, being on the hards this late, and Remsley being in P3 on the preferred mediums, even if they are a bit worn. Prattis, I will say, I remember the race where I casted 2 weeks ago. I believe you said someone who pitted onto the hards had won the race, and then they lost by like 6 seconds. So I'm not saying you're wrong here, but I don't think it was as black and white as that, Prattis. I think there's some merit to pitting and not pitting here, and it pretty much all depended on how many people pit in that safety car. I think it's going to be an interesting finish. I think Forzan's going to be driving like a bat out of hell, so we're going to have to see. Hopefully he can keep it clean, and hopefully he can make it interesting.
That's his style, though. Forzan loves to pit and be the aggressor. He loves to be the attacker, but I don't know if he needed to do that at that time. We're going to find out, though.
Yeah, we are, and going to be interesting. B-Tom now with his, is this his 3rd restart of the race, I think. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays it. Already quite
he could still do the same thing.
Wow,
because he's got different people behind him. And he does it very early.
And he's got the tire advantage on F1 Nerd yet again. But F1 Nerd dumping out the battery, he's going to get right on his rear going into the bus stop.
Remember, you cannot overtake until the start-finish line.
Yeah, and I think F1 Nerd, considering the compound gap, coped quite well with that start. Still only 5/10 behind, similar gap to Remsley behind him. And B-Tom actually with a little bit of a shakeout of that corner. He might have to dump the battery to stay ahead of F1 Nerd, who could really ruin the restart if he can get a good exit, although I think B-Tom's going to be able to stay out in front.
Yeah. If it was with DRS, it would have been a little bit more in question, but pretty good there. Good stuff from F1 Nerd, a Challenger Series driver, contention for the championship. Oh, look at Remsley. Very close.
Remsley with some good drive in there to keep it straight.
Forzan had Jose in the rear right. Almost had some contact there. They were able to get FND. Next one.
Forzan may go for this overtake already. Yeah, he's going to get Jose early. Ooh, I'm starting to think that this may have been the right call for Forzan, already up into P6.
And a timely cost, a time penalty for Jose, 3 seconds. That's not going to help him later on in this race. He'll get his teammate, though.
And this race turned on its head for Jose with that safety car. He was in a much better spot. Forzan going to have a lot of tough decisions to make on when to go for these overtakes, on how risky he wants to play it.
He's got turn 1 right here on exit. He'll go inside or outside. I think he'll go inside. He'll send it.
Charles banking the battery, but Forzan's still going to be able to get a move inside pretty easily.
He should get Camden up into turn 4 if he plays it right. That's mediums versus hard.
And will Camden dump the battery in order to try and defend it, or will he realize that this defense is futile? It seems like he will, and Forzan should have this. But Forzan going to be blinking maybe once he gets into the turn, although it does seem like he's going to stay above that threshold. Getting close, though.
Wow.
Although, man.
Jose gets cammed in 2, and that puts him under pressure. Camden's going to lose another position to Sir Charles. He's going to lose another one to Professional. He's down 4 positions and just a few corners.
And I think this race may be decided. I don't want to say this so early, but if it is a clean race to the end, Forzan is in a great spot, only in P4. 5 laps fresher than F1 Nerd, Remsley, and B-Tom, and he is already in DRS of this leading pack.
Yeah, and I know I was pretty critical of this strategy when they pitted, but Forzan, yeah, this looks very nicely for him. He's already with the top 3 on quicker tires now, fresher tires. Jose, he's still quicker on these tires, but he's got that time penalty as well to deal with. So
yeah, that time penalty, very unfortunate for Jose. Will he go for a 2-for-1? Forzan!
Oh no,
Forzan
he messed it up.
spins! Did someone catch him at the back? It looked like he just, the rear got turned, but I'm not sure if it was just rear locking or if he got clipped. Well, now, man, I feel bad because my caster jinx today has been brutal.
I think that's a driver error on Forzan. I think he was too eager to get past Remsley, and whenever you're going side by side in a slow braking corner, the drivers out in front usually get clipped because of how the angle and how you're going through the corner. So Forzan realized that a little too late. He had to really slam on those brakes, and oh, somebody just went deep. That's GT. He's cutting the grass.
And to take a sort of screenshot, just an outlook on how the rest of this race is going to go for the front pack, F1 Nerd's got a pretty good chance at a podium right now. I don't want to jinx him like I have been all race, but these hards are just going to get better and better as we get to the end of the race. Not too bad on the ERS compared to the people around him, although he is certainly lower. And Remsley has the best ERS of the front pack. This could be an interesting finish. B-Tom probably the favorite, but Remsley might have something to say about that. And F1 Nerd, to my knowledge, will be fighting for his first podium in the Elite class or Platinum class.
This is like, David and Goliath? You got B-Tom, 5-time Platinum. How many wins does he got over little old F1 Nerd, Challenger Series driver? Hasn't even, probably, I don't know if he's ever had a top 5 in the Elite Series or Platinum class. And he's out here on probably better tire situation, still within that DRS, which he might get.
Yeah, and wow, F1 Nerd doing such a good job of staying with this pack in front. If he could keep it clean, he is in a really good spot for a podium. He could be fighting for P2 or P1. I don't want to jinx him, but Remsley around the outside, or inside, should I say.
And I think that might be why B-Tom wanted to keep kind of F1 Nerd in his DRS to maybe defend off of Remsley, who's maybe a little bit more on pace with B-Tom. But yeah, he gets up to P2. It's really, just a little quick shout out, really nice to see Flip Mofo in the comments. That's a TCR OG, haven't seen him around in a little while, but cool to see you tuning in. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing well.
And now it's going to be interesting. I'm not sure Jose, with this 3-second penalty, even though he has 5-lap fresher hards, I'm not sure he's going to be able to build a gap big enough to take P3 from F1 Nerd. And Professor isn't even, or Professional, gosh, I keep combining the two names. Professional not even going to be in range of this fight at the front.
And if I'm F1 Nerd, I don't know what to, Jose, you can't just do that.
F1 Nerd off the track. That is and gets the overtake from it, that feels like that's a position that you're gonna that you have to cede. No, I mean, F1 nerd gonna have a complaint to lodge for sure. I would imagine post race if Jose doesn't give that back.
And Professional had somewhat of an issue. He's outside the points now, a little local yellow.
Forzan, by the way, all the way back to P5, only 3 seconds back or 4 seconds back of this leading pack. If he had done that a lap or two earlier, I think he may have still had a shot at this race.
I still think he's got a shot. Oh,
well, now he doesn't. Now he doesn't.
And Whisper's out.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's right up on track.
Now.
That's only a VSC? Could we get a safety car here?
Wow.
We're late in this race. Could they put one out?
Wow, a VSC. If this had been a safety car, we might have gotten a one-lap shootout towards the end. Ooh, maybe 2 laps, but VSC will keep the delta similar between the top 2, top 3 really, and Jose with a, there was a bit of a nasty move to try and get by, and we are already out of the VSC. That was a quick one.
We're in it, then we're out it.
And Remsley needs to be careful here, or else he's about to get bumper cars played with him in a way similar to F1 Nerd, although Remsley might be able to go around the outside. Jose around the outside.
Jose in the inside.
I think Remsley may be able to hold this position. No, it looks like Jose is going to get around.
Remsley is fighting it back. He's going to slot in line. DRS is already enabled with the VSC, so they're going to have full-on juice towards turn 4, and B-Tom is a sitting duck. Quack, quack.
And F1 Nerd, man, feels bad after that incident going into the bus stop chicane. Jose going to take P1, but yeah, not going to matter as much with that 3-second penalty and with a potential post-race incident. We'll see how F1 Nerd's feeling. Often somebody who's willing to cut a little slack, so we'll see how they're feeling post-race.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's over. The way they're fighting and the way we've had incidents come up left and right, I'm not calling this quit to this top 3 by any means. And F1 Nerd, if I'm him, I'm still pushing. Like I said, you know, you got pushed in the bus stop chicane. You don't know if you're going to submit him. I think he probably would to get a podium, because that put him in a bad situation. So you just got to keep fighting if you're him. But Forzan is continuing to charge on up.
Oh, and I think Kluka just spun out. Won't be any sort of safety car, fortunately for people trying to keep the race clean. What could be interesting here is if B-Tom and Remsley have any sort of fighting going on here. I wonder if Jose could build up a 3-second gap on the fresher tires. Jose will be hoping for Remsley to catch up with B-Tom, maybe get some sort of incident or them to slow each other down fighting with this race. Although I do think B-Tom's just a bit faster, may be able to hold him off pretty comfortably. We'll see.
We got 3 long laps left here at Spa. You never know. I mean, Jose, let's see what type of sector he could pull off in Sector 2. I'm curious. I mean, let's see if he can really put something together. B-Tom is not going to let that happen, though.
Yeah, B-Tom is still looking good on these 13-lap old mediums. He's maybe lost that first position on the track, but seems keen to keep it in the final standings. Remsley, he is fast today, but just doesn't seem like quite fast enough to give B-Tom a shot for it.
Alright, I gotta say this. The camera angles here, they suck. every time I try and go wide, they bring me onto the car. Like, I just want a wide angle. And they keep giving me these bum camera angles. I don't mean to keep switching all race long, but they gotta give me something to work with here.
And B-Tom, will he go for the overtake here? No, gonna play it safe. Not too big of a surprise there. Another way this race could get interesting, though, if B-Tom gets backed into Remsley. A lot could still happen on these last 2 laps.
Let's see down here. Remsley's got about 29% battery. B-Tom's saving it all. He's saving it nice. He's at 60%. Jose's about equal with Remsley, so. Should be all come down to the last lap, but I don't see anything changing here.
Yeah, and B-Tom, of course, the very smart driver, just willing to play this safe, keep his ERS for the last lap, give Jose a bit of a gap, and just use that ERS to defend Remsley if it's needed. We will see, though. Can Remsley do anything, make some magic happen?
The brothers of the Lucas are going for the fastest laps. It was Camden just moments ago, and then Kluka took over for fastest lap. So they have their own little fun battle outside of the points. I think B-Tom's got enough battery to, on this next lap, he's probably just going to dump it to get past Jose and take this for, you know, take this win out on track, which is usually his style.
Yeah, and he could get the overtake even into the bus stop chicane if he wants to go for it, but he's going to play it safe, of course.
I wonder, let's see what Remsley, it's really all dependent on Remsley. Jose's got that time penalty, B-Tom's looking pretty. It's all dependent on Remsley. What does he want to do? Is he content with the podium, or does he have anything up his sleeve on this final lap?
And there begins the dump for B-Tom. And you'd imagine B-Tom would have to make a pretty big mistake here, which, of course, not something you see often from B-Tom. And yeah, there he goes for the overtake.
Side by side, though, look at the contact. And here comes Remsley now, and he's saved. He did not use any battery down that straight. He might be saving it for the sector 3.
Similar ERS too now, both just above 30%.
Now Jose's got that time penalty. Will he start to knock him back a little bit? He doesn't. He's no obligation to go at his quickest here. Oh, that's my bad. My controller keeps. That's on me. That's my bad. We're back though. We're back.
Remsley looks like he lost a bit over the curb, though. Now 8/10 gap to B-Tom. B-Tom should have this.
I don't know. The light's blinking for Jose. He's no DRS at this stage, but he's going to have that slipstream. It's going to have to be ascend into the chicane. This could end badly. It's ended badly for me once in the past.
I cannot believe he's going for it on track. Oh, but that's his style, isn't it? And he's gonna make it happen.
They're making it to the line. They're coming to the line. It's gonna be B-Tom for the race win out on track, barely too.
Yeah,
he's gonna grab the win over Remsley. Jose still gets a time with the time penalty. He'll get the P3 for the podium. F1 Nerd narrowly missing out, although he is in question to maybe get himself a podium. If Jose does get submitted, he could get under review if he gets a 5-second time penalty, which is a usual common, that's the lowest common time penalty. If he does get a time penalty, would get demoted. So F1 Nerd could grab his first podium in the Elite Series. Forzan, though, had a couple issues late, which cost him a good podium, and to be honest, I think he was on charge for a race win.
Yeah, it looked like he was locked in for it in the middle of that, or towards the beginning of that final stint. Had the tire advantage on all of that front leading pack, and then just a couple unfortunate lockups in Sector 3 first, and then Sector 2 a bit later, and that gave Remsley and Jose and B-Tom the opportunity to pull away, and he was out of it in terms of the race win after that.
Great race though, as B-Tom. All right, get out of here. We don't need you flying. Get your flying ass out of here.
But
good win though.
Yeah,
good win. Good.
Very good win.
A fun little thing. Fun little race we had there. And fastest lap went to Kluka. He won't get a point for that. A little shout out to the Aussie debut driver of Original Paulie. Pretty solid. He was in there battling with a few drivers, unable to get into the points, but still finished the race from 18th to 12th. A good start for him. Again, another week of disappointment for Silent. He DNFs in big, dramatic fashion. I can't wait to see the crash on his point of view. It looked like a pretty high G impact that I missed. So if no one's in the Discord and you guys were watching and wanted to see that wreck, I'm sure he'll post it in the Discord into shared links, so you can always join to get that. KD, welcome back, but he didn't really get much into this race. He might need a couple weeks to get up to par. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. We're getting to, next week's round 10, and pretty soon, the new point system will start to kick in. We count the best 12 races of your 14. So that obviously doesn't start to get kicked in until round 13 and 14. And the formula will pick it up.
And
So,
FND Cakes with a very quick submission. I always love to see those. The tickets coming out just a minute after the race, not even. I love that. I don't know what it could be for him, though. I did not see how he... what would have happened for him. Oh, we got B-Tom.
B-Tom, let's see. We are looking for Jose. And Jose and Remsley.
And yeah, Forzan seems to think he got tapped going into that last corner. Like I said, I really could not tell. Will be interesting. And yeah, F1 nerd. There it is. He may be getting his first Elite Series / Platinum podium.
I think he's got a good case for it too, looking at from what I remember. But we'll obviously let it go through the stewards process and such like that. But it's always, sometimes you gotta wait for the process to go out, but it's still not the same. You always want to go to you want to end on the podium, and then you want to get into the post-race interviews, and you don't want to get your first win or first podium through a steward. You know what I mean? It's just. It doesn't feel the same, but anywho, we do got P3 here. That is Jose, and we'll talk to him right about it. P3 for the time being. He was able to get himself onto the podium, even with that 3-second time penalty. You might be getting submitted very shortly by F1 Nerd for more penalties, possibly. Firstly, we'll start off with the podium and then talk us through that little incident with F1 Nerd and, overall thoughts on your race. Jose.
Yeah, overall I think that was pretty good considering I had damage on turn 1. We went 3 wide with Rams. We went 3 wide in turn 1, and I don't think anyone could have judged the spaces right, so I kind of hit Forzan in the side and lost a bit of wing, but it didn't impact me so much, so I waited until my normal pit stop to change it. And yeah, after that, the incident with F1 Nerd, I don't know, it's such a weird one. I don't want to say it was his fault, but I was right behind me coming into the right kink before the bus stop chicane. and I could have swore he was going right, so I took left. And then he moved over to the left, which if I was defending myself in a court, I would say like you can't move over once you've committed to a line. But so yeah, I brake that caught me by surprise. So I brake not normally, but I brake when I realized I wasn't going to make it, and I still hit him. So that was unfortunate. But yeah, of course, sorry to him, because you never want that to happen. But yeah, I do think we wouldn't have touched if he had stayed right. But once again, I want to say sorry to him, because you don't want that to happen anyways.
All right, and I'll say one more thing with you. It looks like you still had the nice speed and pace out there. You looked strong, even though it was a P3 or maybe getting demoted. I mean, you're right up there for another race in a row. I mean, you should be pretty happy, I feel like. And then also, how are you feeling going to next week? You got the TCR Grand Prix at Jeddah. Are you seeing yourself, being good there? Are you able to show up for that one too?
Yeah, I should be able to show up, but I'm taking races 1 week at a time. I don't want to predict anything, because I've been taking a more chill, facing the races more relaxed, in the sense that I'm not practicing like 2 hours. Just I'm trying to get an hour, but I never get it. But still, I'm driving to have fun, and have fun I did. It was a good battle with Etham, good battle with a lot of the other boys when I was making my way through the field behind Forzen. And yeah, I don't want to make any promises, but it does seem like I'm getting some momentum, and I want to keep it that way. But as I said, my main priority is have fun.
Sweet. And Zionicle, any questions for Jose?
Yeah, it was definitely another good race for you, Jose. I actually, this is my bad. I don't remember what compound you started the race on, but was pitting on to the mediums an option for you at that point in the final stint? Because I thought it seemed like the mediums might have been the optimal tire for the final stint, but I don't know. What tire did you start on, I guess?
Yeah, thank you for reminding that. I wanted to mention that I started on softs. I wanted to go softs mediums because I knew you could, and so I went to mediums after the first safety car, and after the second one, I could have swore I said the mediums, dude. I wanted to go into mediums. I knew the mediums were the better tire, and I got into the hards. I will actually look at that, because I could have sworn I selected those. Like I looked at the tire thing right before entering the pits, and it said mediums. So maybe I hit a button inadvertently, but yeah, I wanted to go to the mediums, and going to the hards definitely was a mistake.
Yeah, well, I think we've all been there for sure. I thought that might have been the case, because I had that happen in a race last season. So definitely a shame if that was the case. But still a good result, P3 in the race, even with the penalty. And I would say even if anything comes of this report, it'll still be P4 at worst. So you're racing pretty well lately. Some good finishes these last few races.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't check the times, but I think I had a 5-second gap behind, or maybe just a 4-second gap. But yeah, I'll definitely post my views on reports. Hopefully, I don't get a penalty. But if it was my fault, then I'd take the penalty. It's I wouldn't fall this towards that. Could go either way, I guess. But I'll present my case. Hopefully, I don't get any penalties. Don't lose any places. But yeah, as you said, I hope I can keep the podium.
Well, yeah, should be interesting, but yeah, good stretch of races. Hope I can see you keeping up this form, Jose. Good stuff.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, we will move on to the race winner, the man of the hour, because Remsley is unable to do an interview here tonight, so he got P2 in the Alpine. But we will move to the quote-unquote reserve driver, Aston Martin driver for tonight. Usually in the Ferrari, B-Tom grabbing another win here, grabbed your pole position, you grabbed your win, you're unable to get the fastest lap, controlled much of the race, strategy worked out pretty well. To be honest, you led most of it. I don't know if you led every. I mean, you kind of controlled most of it, even through the pit stop phase. But was it as sweet and sound, or am I missing something?
It was definitely a surprise, that's for sure. I was talking in the group chat earlier saying that like my knee's pretty busted. Bit of a funny story behind that. I won't go into the details, but I'm waiting to see if I've torn my ACL again. So it was a weird feeling driving, and honestly, I've just been hopping on the game to race with you guys. Outside of that, I haven't really touched the F1 games at all. So when I got pole, I was shocked because the lap was pretty terrible. But as for the race, I'd say the first stint was relatively easy. The safety cars made it harder because if you're going to go on the softs, then you need it to be clear running so you can gap the guys on the hards and mediums. And then on the medium stint, the first half of it was okay, and then the second half was just really tough, mainly because it felt like I had pretty much no rear grip. I don't know if you guys caught it on stream, but there were a couple moments where I nearly spun off just because I tried to carry a certain amount of speed into the corner and the rear just would not live with it. So had to make it a bit of an adjustment from that point onwards. But outside of that, it was, I guess, somewhat expected, given how the first part of the race went.
Yeah, and towards the end of the race, we saw there was a safety car, and Forzan pitted and went on to the mediums, and I was kind of scratching my head as to why, but it was working out. But then he had an issue into the chicane, lost some time. He had almost a full spin. Then he was gaining more time again, and then he almost hit the wall through turns 4 and 5. If he didn't have those issues, given your tire wear and thinking of how his would be, how hard would it have been to maybe defend off of him?
Oh, it would have been impossible. He would have won for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was struggling a lot, especially in those opening laps on that last safety car restart. So I think he went from like 7th to I think 4th or something like that. It was just over a second behind me. And I had to use more battery than I wanted just to kind of get a bit of a gap after making mistakes and losing everything I'd worked for throughout the rest of the lap. So in hindsight, it definitely would have been the smart choice to pit. And initially, my plan was to just see if I can get out in front of the safety car. So then I would just have to follow the Delta, and everyone else would as well, because then I could respond the next lap without any issues. But didn't quite manage it. I was just behind the safety car, so then I had to follow it around. And from that point onwards, I was pretty much stuck on that strategy. So definitely a bit fortunate that Forzan had some issues on his way back up the field. But yeah, I mean he's been dominating this season. So
yeah, I mean it's going to be interesting. I mean you've been putting some nice races in, and as with the the 12 of 14, we'll wait till that starts to kick in later on this season. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're in the top 3 in the championship with Lawrence, if I'm not mistaken. Which is, do you see yourself showing up to the rest of them and giving it a go?
Showing up to the rest, maybe. Fighting for the championship, I think, is definitely out of the question. I'm like 70-something points behind.
Hey, it's been done before.
Yeah, I don't know. But still, in the grand scheme of things, it's.
I like to get you guys stressed about.
Yeah.
About the championship. I
honestly,
know how stressful that stuff is.
I haven't thought about it at all, really. I think you guys saw on the last lap here and last lap in Britain, I was taking risks trying to overtake people who had time penalties on track, which, if I was fighting for the championship, that's something I would never do. So honestly, I'm just, trying to have some fun. But yeah, I mean, overall, it still looks quite good for Forzan in the championship. I think he's leading by like 40-something points. So something would have to go horrendously wrong for him in the last few rounds for I think anyone to have a chance of winning. So
Well,
yeah.
Zynical, any questions for B-Tom?
No, yeah. I would just say I can definitely tell you're just racing for fun this season, because those moves on Jose in the last lap to get the win on track definitely took some balls, considering the penalties he had, but that made it fun to see. I was definitely some fun racing there at the end, and a good win, of course.
Yeah, for sure. When I first tried to overtake him at the end of Sector 1, I honestly thought we were going to cross because I had a slight rear lockup going into the corner, and he was on my outside, and I thought I was just going to like tag his rear right and spin around, but just managed to squeeze through. And on the final chicane, I thought I was going to have a bit more of a run on him because I knew he was low on battery, but I was running relatively high wings, so I wasn't gaining nearly as much as I would have liked. So going in there side by side, normally the guy on the inside of the first part gets, the exit on the second part and takes it, but I was like, might as well go for it. And it worked out. I think we had a bit of contact on the exit, but it's probably net code because looking at the replay, it didn't look like we touched at all. So yeah, really fun battling with him. Major props for, keeping it clean, even though we could have both easily thrown a very good result away. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely some good racing, even though Remsley would have been hoping for some chaos there at the end. But congrats on the win, of course.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been a pretty funny way to win if we just tangled at the last corner and crashed out.
I hope that's not a shot to me.
No.
You remember that, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, man.
I'm starting to feel that is a shot at me. B-Tom now, what do you want?
Couple too many laughs there. Maybe.
I didn't even realize. I was like, oh, yeah, we did have that incident.
Well,
looking back
did I have it
now,
with you? I feel like I hit it with, flip-flop?
Yeah, I think.
Or did I hit with you? He won. I don't know who hit me or who.
Well, in Jeddah we crashed each other out.
Oh, well, that's last. Yeah, well, that happened too.
Yeah, and then I think you had some drama with. I don't think it was flip flop. It might have been somebody else around Spa. I think it was season 15. So
last lap into the chicane, just like you and Jose went, and I don't know who it was with, to be honest, but I know Flip won that one. Flip flop. Anywho, fun times.
For sure.
It's funny how you look back at those crazy moments and, seasons or years later you laugh about it.
Yeah.
But it took me a long time to get over it. And I'm sure that's how a lot of people are.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Anywho, I think that's going to do it here tonight for the post-race interviews. Thanks for joining, and thank you for Zyonical for joining me in the booth. A little sum-up of tonight's race. I'm going to give it to you.
Well, I think we had a lot of chaos, a lot of alternative strategies, but in the end, B-Tom made it look easy, almost wire to wire, if I remember right. So, little comfy, but could have been a little scary if Forzan had just not avoided the chaos. But you can't always keep it clean. He got hit. He lost it in some spots. So tough race, but a good win from B-Tom for sure.
Very nicely said, and yeah, that's Zyonical. My name is Seafreeze. Thank you all for tuning in. Don't forget to check the description for more information. Go to our website and you can join and sign up. Join our Discord where we are the most active. We have TCR merchandise you can purchase on the website as well. If you're looking to get Fanatec gear, you can use our affiliation link. Proceeds will come back to TCR, and we're going to need it for this iRacing shit. So use the damn link, goddammit. We need the money for iRacing. That shit's expensive. So use the link, and we appreciate you. Next week is the TCR Grand Prix. in 1 week's time, same place for the Elite Series. That's at Jeddah. Next Tuesday is the Challenger Series returning for their TCR Grand Prix feature race at Jeddah. And next Thursday, we are starting iRacing and IndyCar. We're not sure if it's going to be entirely streamed. We'll put the attendance up. We'll see who's showing up, and we'll see what we can or cannot do. Other than that, thank you all for watching. It's been a pleasure, and until next time, have a good night, everybody.